Some of the global Earth climate pollution changes that are going on seem astronomical and just really big. So sometimes we need to break it down, things that we can do as individuals and families, and sometimes as companies and communities to start making a difference and feel as though that at least we're being part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So I did some digging around today, finding some lists of things that we can do on our own and take action. And as I get into this list here, I want to construct a list for you. Consider this: if you have kids and they're of a certain age where they might be just completely interested in what's going on around the home and with buildings and with the climate and environment, involve them. And if you're one that gives your children allowances, you might be able to tie this into learning and money. So I have some patients that have done this with their kids, and it's worked out really well, where they pull the kids in to act on some of the things on the list. And if they make some changes around the house and they can see energy improvements around the house, they either earn the allowance or they get additional money on their allowance, something like that. So that's a great way to get the kids involved, to say, hey, we can make a difference in our small piece of the planet. And that, if we do it collectively, will make a much bigger change, measurable change on the planet itself. So from nrdc.org, National Resources Defense Council, they have a list of 11 things. We'll narrow it down here a little bit. This is an article from 2017 from Melissa Denchak, and she had a bunch of things here. So the first thing that she recommended was, the first thing you can do about making changes in climate is to speak up. Feel free to speak up on social media, and when you put messages out saying, here's what I'm doing, what other suggestions do you have, what are things that you're doing to make changes around your household and in your company or your workplace. So speak up. And she also made the recommendations to make sure that we're holding our representatives accountable to making improvements, so we're not polluting as much, we're not consuming as much fossil fuels and so forth. So speak up about it is number one. Number two, powering your home with renewable energy. That might not necessarily mean putting solar panels on your roof, but maybe it does. Or putting a windmill in your backyard, maybe it does. But you can also choose a utility company that generates at least half of its power from wind and solar and has been certified by Green E Energy. You can start looking at this and powering your own house and maybe switching utilities. That's something I did at my house. And you spend a little bit more money potentially, but at least you're supporting that switch over to, we want more renewables powering our grid. Number three is weatherize the home. And she put here, weatherize, weatherize, weatherize. Really start looking around the house to see if you can tighten things up. This is something that your kids can get involved with. Building, heating, and cooling are among the biggest uses of energy at home and around the office. Heating and air conditioning accounts for almost half of the home energy use. So weatherizing the home can really make a difference on what you're spending, and then if your kids are there and they become involved, maybe they can earn some of that if they help with some of the solutions. Okay. Number four is invest in energy efficient appliances. And these were some interesting numbers. Since 1987, efficiency standards for appliances have kept 2.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide out of the air, and that is equivalent to the annual carbon release of 440 million cars. So if you're due for new appliances, just make sure you're getting the most energy efficient to your ability. Number five is something we can all do, is reduce water waste. It takes a lot of energy to heat, cool, pump, and treat water. So shorter showers, turning off the water when you're brushing your teeth, a couple of simple little things. Encourage your kids to get involved with that as well. And switching to water sense labeled fixtures and appliances. So in Massachusetts, as an example, you can have Mass Save come in and they can do an energy audit, and they can do some simple fixture recommendations and changes that will reduce water use. Number six, and I think this is a bigger one than some of the others, and something that you may think about. Actually eat the food you buy and make less of it meat. A meat-heavy diet is really a carbon tax on the planet. We talked about this. Feeding grains to livestock is extremely inefficient use of land and energy. Switching to more plant-based diets can help. And up to 40% of food is thrown away. It's grown, it's distributed, it's bought, whether it's supermarkets and restaurants, and then it's just simply thrown away. 40%. You could really turn around your own food bill and the food bill for your family and make a difference in the environment by just making sure you're just buying and eating what you buy. Number 7 is better light bulbs. We know that LED light bulbs save a lot of energy. Number 8 is pull the plug. So this is important. Again, this is where you can get your kids involved if appropriate and age appropriate, because you're going to be dealing with plugs, so be careful of that. But a lot of our rechargeable fixtures, rechargeable equipment and so forth that we have, after they are fully charged, can still draw power. So they need to be unplugged. You can use power strips, you can use timers and so forth to make sure that you're not getting this draw of energy after things are charged up. Take a look at that, and there are meters and sensors that you can use to see if anything is drawing power even when it's not being used. And number 9, I just want to finish with transportation. So she has a few things on her list, and I just wanted to combine it. If you're due for a new vehicle, shop for energy efficiency as opposed to other things. Make that a priority. I decided to get a plug-in hybrid. So it's a hybrid vehicle with a gas engine, but I can plug it in and get some battery power. And with that vehicle, I didn't have to do any electrical changes at home. I can plug it into just a regular wall socket and get a certain amount of battery power. So that's one way to make it very easy to switch over as opposed to just going with a straight electric vehicle. Make sure that your tires are properly inflated. So you check your tires on a more regular basis. And if we all did this just as a nation, it could save us 1.2 billion gallons of gas each year by just making sure our air pressure is appropriate. Tune-ups can really help with gas efficiency, and simply a new air filter can give you a 10% boost in fuel economy. And lastly, rethinking planes, trains, and automobiles, meaning if a train works instead of a plane, that's a huge energy savings. Walking more, bicycling more, if appropriate, instead of doing shorter car trips, can really make a difference. Here's another place that you can do this, davidsuzuki.org. davidsuzuki.org. He had a nice top 10 list of things that you can do to help climate change. A couple of them were the same as our list here. Energy consumption at home, and he made again the case on the dietary situation of making sure eating what you buy and then shifting to a more plant-based diet. And lastly, I just wanted to bring your attention to the author Naomi Klein. Naomi Klein. I am listening to her audiobook right now, which is in 2019. It's called On Fire, The Burning Case for a Green New Deal. This book is really in-depth. It's really heavy. If you want to do a deep dive on what's going on, policies and measures and things that we can do as individuals, but then what's going on with global policies, it's super detailed. It's very interesting. But it's not a light read either, so you got to be prepared for that. But anyways, Naomi Klein, she's done a lot of books and writing on this, would be someone to check out. I'm Dr. Scott Fuller. Thank you.